I went on the Australia trip. We went to Australia for about 15 days. We stayed with another Jesuit school in Sydney called St. Ignatius at Riverview. I personally travel a lot, so I'm pretty good with going to different places. It was my first time traveling alone, but I felt like the school did, both Fordham and Riverview did a lot to ease the experience. The family I stayed with was really, really nice and welcoming. I just felt at home there. I honestly loved being in the dorms. I was there with one other Fordham kid and one other Boston kid. It was a really, really freeing experience. All the Australian kids in there were just so welcoming and nice and funny. It was just like being enveloped into their little family. Some of my favorite things that we were taken to see were definitely the Opera House. That looked really cool. For sure Vivid, which is an annual light show that Sydney puts on. And also we got some really beautiful pictures of the Sydney Bridge. I went to work at a children's hospital in Sydney with my guide. We worked in a special ward called the Starlight Room in the children's hospital. Basically, it was for any children who were staying there overnight. They could just come down and hang out there for a little bit. There was video games and activities, and the workers who were stationed in there dressed up as superheroes and just did whatever they could to make those kids feel like they weren't trapped in a hospital. And myself and my Australian guide just helped them out with whatever we could. It was a really eye-opening experience. It was really incredible to see these kids who live half the world away from us, but basically live the exact same way we do. My hosts were very, very loving and caring. They did anything they could to make sure that I felt at home. They made sure that I texted my parents every night. They took me out whenever they could. Another time they really made me feel welcome was when I went to one of their rugby games. It's basically one of the biggest rivalries in Australia. And just getting involved in their chants and all the screaming and all of that was really, really exhilarating.
I am a host brother for the US exchange. So I had the Fordham Prep students at my house for 2 weeks at the end of June. It was a very enjoyable experience. I think I learnt a lot from it, and I think they learnt a lot, and we had a lot of sightseeing tours, which was good, and I saw a part of Sydney that I wouldn't normally see. Like, I went into it knowing what I wanted to do, and I'd talk to the boys who were coming over and ask what they wanted to do, and it fairly similarly matched up. So we just went out and saw Sydney Harbour and went to the zoo and went to all the different places around Sydney that were quite touristy. And then I took them to my places, like we went to the beach and did a walk. It was quite interesting having a foreign student follow me around. It was, I guess it really made you realise how different your cultures are. Like we in Sydney or Australia call it Macca's, not McDonald's. And I guess it's such a difference between cultures. We went on a 4-day service trip. I went to a school for children with autism, and that was really eye-opening. We helped out in the classrooms, and I think both the boys and I got a lot out of it. I've really enjoyed the time in New York. On the first weekend that we got here, we went to Central Park and all around Manhattan, and went to the top of the Empire State Building and all the way around. It was such an enjoyable experience, and I hope that I come back here later on in life and see it all again. I definitely would do a trip like this again, and I would recommend it to every single other boy that I meet who is thinking about it.
My name is Jimmy Flannery. I'm a junior at Fordham Prep, and I went on the Costa Rica trip. For the service aspect, we patrolled the beaches at night at this reserve called Preparatory, and we assisted the scientists there in patrolling the beach, looking for sea turtles who may be giving birth or may be in danger of predators around the area. We went on hikes through the rainforest. We played volleyball on the beach, which is actually pretty nice. We played a lot of soccer too. During the day when we were at the reserve, we did a lot of research in the field, like hands-on. We went into the forest. We observed a bunch of the wildlife there. We saw some spider monkeys and also a crocodile, which I thought was pretty cool. I feel like this trip was a great learning experience because we got to work with real scientists at like a real reserve in Costa Rica, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rosanna Estrella. I teach AP Physics and Forensic Science. I'm a member of the Science Department. And I took a group of students to Costa Rica last Easter break. This is an ecology trip, but it also has a very big service component. So the students become stewards of the earth in that they help in the preservation of endangered species like the sea turtles. The trip was 9 days long, and we stayed 4 days along the Caribbean coast working with the sea turtles, which is an endangered species, and 3 days in the rainforest. I think the experience for the students was unique, rare, and something they will never forget. Their experience with an endangered species and being up close and personal with them and being involved with the data gathering process was precious. I think being that close to the earth with no amenities, no electronics, and just being one with nature is also a valuable experience. And we become really stewards of the earth after that experience because the care we gave to these creatures and the awesomeness of seeing nature at its rawest form, I think, is valuable. We were 3 chaperones. Miss Dempsey, who teaches math and statistics, which was her knowledge with data gathering and the interpretation of data was amazing. And Mrs. Martinez, who heads the counseling department, also came along with us. Well, the ecology trips for the future. So this coming Easter break, we're going to Belize, which is a marine ecology trip. And we will be pretty much snorkeling for the better part of the day and taking a look at endangered species in an amazing reef along the Caribbean coast also. And the other plans are the 3rd trip might be the Galapagos Islands, which is also rainforest and marine. And Baja, Mexico, too, would be rainforest and marine. So that's our projection for the 3rd and 4th trips.
This message was approved by Lockie Brooks.